All right, you're on.
I'm looking at Don, not the
Great.
camera.
We're now here at EDUCAUSE with Brian Parish, who is the president of iData. Brian, we're interested in focusing on what iData does and what's new in your practice and how that relates to what we're seeing here at EDUCAUSE.
Sure. Well, Don, we do three things at iData. We have a group that's focused on technology consulting services, and we work with most of the enterprise systems that run higher education. That group does a lot of custom software development and system integration. But more importantly, for this topic is that we've got an institutional research and reporting services group that works with schools to create institutional research projects, to answer questions on campus with the data that they have trapped in either their ERP system or all the satellite systems that they have out there. And that group works closely with our technology services group to both get the requirements and business needs for this reporting and the technical experience to pull the data necessary to answer these questions. And lastly, we have some product offerings. And the flagship product is called Data Cookbook, or datacookbook.com, and that is a business process tool for data management and data definitions and data governance for reporting and analytics in higher education.
So, Brian, to my taste, your company is a good example of one of the kind of archetypes of the constellation of new companies that are rising up to deal with these analytics needs. You have the really big guys, you have the specialized tools and applications people with fully packaged, prepackaged applications, and then you have companies like yours that are out there with particular products and services to sell, but in general helping clients to deal with these analytics issues that they're facing.
There's a great number of really fascinating technologies that are coming out right now. We believe at our company that in order to make the most out of those technology purchases and those tools, you need to understand the people problems and the knowledge problems that stop you, that are barriers to using those technologies effectively. So our company focuses on that. For both, in our tagline for us is, iData, we know higher education data, which is true. Everyone at our company, we've got great technical people, but they all also have worked at a university or at a higher education software vendor, and they know the data inside and out, and they know the business problems of higher ed. And so we work with schools while they are trying to formulate their projects to create analytics or to create data extracts or all the layers that are needed to get to the higher level type of analytic work. And how do you get it right at the beginning of the project to understand your data, to understand the goals that you're trying to get from the reports, and so forth.
Right. So in many ways, you're like iData Sherpa. You help institutions to deal with the linkages with ERP. You're very experienced in that. You deal with particular tools. You help them with the organizational mindset, and you essentially help them through the change management aspect of analytics.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, so if you're climbing that, Mount Everest of your analytics project, we'll throw your expensive BI product on our back and try to carry along. I mean, this is the hard part actually, is you got to carry along. You can't just climb the mountain with IT. You have to bring all of your stakeholders along in the process.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we found is that you could do everything right from a reporting project out of an IT project, in terms of technical and delivering the data and delivering the analytics and delivering the dashboards. And they can be beautiful, sexy products, and everyone can be excited about looking at them. But if people don't trust the data on the campus for some reason, if they haven't been involved in the process, if there's not transparency and documentation and collaboration during the data development, that your project is going to fail. It'll fail. Without trust, it doesn't matter how pretty the data is and how well organized it is, they're not going to use it. So, our effort again is to build that trust as we, Sherpa up the mountain.
Well, you have to build a single point of truth and have people believe that it's the truth.
That's true.
And that's where the trust comes in.
And the single point of one of the struggles that we have on our data definition side that we use with the cookbook, where we have the data cookbook, is there needs to be a single point of truth correctly, and that's a very common, greatly used phrase in the world of data warehousing. But when you take things like active student or FTE or things like that, there's often multiple definitions on campus for that all are valid depending on the context. So if you're talking to the state of California versus the Bursar versus the admissions versus the alumni rep, they all have their own reasons for calling someone an active student. So what you need to do is you need to have a place where you're documenting that difference and exposing that difference, and rather than sort of concealing it behind some, several layers of abstraction. And if that is exposed out there, then people know, oh, we're talking about it in this context, and that's what you need to have.
Final question, Brian. One of the key themes here at EDUCAUSE this year on analytics is affordability. How does affordability play in your world? Are you finding that your clients are requiring you to sharpen your pencils pretty sharp these days?
Well, yes and no. I mean, we're already very affordable on both the consulting side and our product side. In fact, our data cookbook is very inexpensive. When we tell people how much it costs, they say, "Oh, well, gee, that's a no-brainer in terms of cost." It's and our consulting services, we like to say that we've got the highest level consultants at mid-tier pricing. There's like this new Volkswagen commercial out now where they say, great at the price of good, and then we're kind of going with that too. But one of the things that we're trying to do is efficiency in the execution of the work that we do. I mean, you can't, nowadays with people, first of all, the process of starting projects is often, takes a long time. And what you see on campus is that you've got more work than you have money, right? I mean, that's a big issue, that you've got a lot of people on campuses who there's a lot of things that need to be done. And the individual departments need to prove that their effort has a return on investment in order to get the budget to put the energy into it. So what we try to do when we work with schools is to show them value in what we deliver. And analytics is one of those things where if you can convince people what you should be able to do, the return on investment in the analytics, and you can show you how you can deliver that affordably, then it's, again, it should be a no-brainer.
That's the holy grail. Well, we're one of the things we're doing is posting case studies and white papers and things. Do you have some materials you can share with us electronically that we could put on the public forum on action analytics so people can know what iData does?
Sure, absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Don.
Appreciate
It's been a
your
pleasure.
time.